it's Lisa. I'm putting together a kit that I'm going to use for several pages. I've done this kind of series before where we pull everything together and then we use it to create several scrapbook pages. I have some photos already picked out here that I know are going to go well with these papers. And when I started doing this, I was getting ready to order some stuff from a cherry on top, and I went to one of my drawers and I had some papers from the J'adore collection from Basic Gray, and I thought, okay, I need stuff, a little bit more of this stuff, so I'm going to get a little bit more embellishments. What I messed up on, though, is they weren't just the J'adore collection. They were also this collection from Kaisercraft that I got in more recently called the Fly Free collection. I was a little puzzled as to why J'adore is a little bit older collection as to why I had so much of it. I didn't. I had a lot of this. But they go together really well. So we're going to use these in a kit together. And what I have to go with them, I already had these brads from Basic Gray. I have these flare pens from My Mind's Eye that are very similar in color, and I'm going to probably take these apart and they're not going to end up as pens when I get done with them. I added to my collection this sticker sheet from J'adore. It's got the great flowers, and I always love their border stickers. Here's some additional papers. Let's look at the rest of these papers here. We can add, and here's some more of the Kaisercraft papers. So, I realize it's December, but we're going to be doing some summary pages. Other things I have to go with this, I just went through my stash and pulled out a few things. Oh, I did have this stamp set. This was on clearance for the J'adore collection that goes with it. But I went through my stash and I pulled out a little bit of wood veneer, lots of trims in the right colors, and some flowers that I thought went really well with this, especially with the navy in there. And I pulled out a few leaves. I have a lot of things with leaves. I usually use leaves for fall, but one of these could be, it's more of a summary page, but I think the leaves would be relevant to it. So I just pulled out lots of different things, a couple of things of washi tape. And a friend sent me a bunch of stuff recently that I broke down by color, and I have a lot of cardstock that goes with this as well. So I've got all these things that are going to go in my kit, and then we're going to get started here in just a moment on the very first page using this homemade kit. Okay, let's look at our three different envelopes here of photos and decide which one I want to do first. I'm going to do all of them. There's one with several photos. There's a single photo that I thought went well with these. And then this is that older one that I think will go with the leaves really well. I have some great photos from this particular location. It was a garden down in Georgia that we went to that was just gorgeous, and I haven't, this is all I printed so far. I could print even more photos from it. So I got to decide which one I want to do first. And when I'm doing that kind of thing, I sort of look at the big print or the most dominant print ones out of there, the one, the special print that I know I want to use. And this one, I think, is one of the most interesting ones from Kaisercraft's Fly Free collection. I like both sides, but I really like this floral, this heavy floral. And I don't think that's going to be it. I kind of like it with that. And I certainly may cut it up. I don't like it with these photos because although these gardens had some beautiful color, one of the key elements to these gardens was the Japanese gardens, which don't have color. So I think that although I'll probably be doing multiple pages for this, I think I would rather use this with these photos from up in the mountains. And we went to a garden center, and so I've got some color there. So I think I'm going to start with those. And I'll put all the rest of these back in their little envelopes. And then we will do those pages later on. So now I need to think about how I want to use these. Is this going to be a one-pager or a two-pager? I've got two sheets of cardstock laying here side by side. I don't know if these are going to necessarily be the ones in the background, but I just using those to kind of arrange things. This photo needs to be split because one goes one way and one goes another. I think I'm going to have to do this one as a 2-pager. I could get all the photos on one. I could create a little photo booklet or something with them, but I don't think I want to do this. So I think this is going to be a 2-pager, and probably do them something like that. This was actually, if I did this chronologically, this was the first part of our little visit that day, and then this was the rest of the visit. So, I don't know, I'll have to start thinking about how I want to arrange things, but let's look at some specific product for these photos. So I'm going to put them over on one page. Okay, I've zoomed out here so you'll be able to see what all I'm doing. All right, I've got them over on one page. I know I want to use this paper in some way with them. And let's see what other papers are going to go well with that. Well, this great wood stripe that goes for that collection. This is also part of that Fly Free collection, so I'm going to leave it out here, but I'm not sure. Oh, there's some cut-aparts with this. Happy. Oh, isn't that pretty? There's some really pretty things here with this. But I don't think those are relevant, and that pink is a little too bright, so. I like the stripe. Might end up using some of the stickers, so we'll leave that out. Okay. And are there any obvious embellishments that I know that I want to use with this? I don't think these flowers and the leaves were not what I had in mind when I picked that. I might do like some of those heart things there. Since this is a 2-pager and I don't have 2 sheets of any one of these papers, I'm probably going to use one of the cardstock backgrounds. I might do a little stamping on it. So we'll look into that. And I don't see anything obvious here with the trims or the washi. Memories. I like the memories one. Oh, what about this? Kind of like the lovely day. I think that one's really relevant to this. Okay, and I can always pull from this later on. These are just a few ideas of things that I might want to use on the page. Okay. So now I'm going to start thinking about arrangement and maybe working on a sketch, because I have photos. Oh, I got to decide on a background. Let's do one of the greens for the background. There's not a lot of blue here. Let's pick, ooh, these 2 greens don't match. I have some more green paper, so let me go get another sheet of this green, and we'll use the green as the background. This photo kind of actually goes with that more than it does with this. Okay, I'm starting to get some thought on how I want to arrange these, and I'll work up a sketch. So here's our sketch. I've done the photos in 3 different sections on the layout, sort of the, like you do your embellishments in groups of 3. I've done the photos in groups of 3, so everything is going to be in groups of 3. To unite the page, though, I've done some stitching around 3 sides, so it'll look like one continuous spread, which is what I'm going for. And now I'm just figuring out what's going to go in each of the sections. And I've decided not to use the stamping since I put the stitching around the edge. So we'll do the stamping on another page. And here's my favorite paper. However, on some of the photos it's a little busy, so I'm either going to have to mat it or use it in a little smaller quantities than I had originally planned. I do really like this wood grain stripe. When I first got it, I thought it was a bit bright, but it's working out really well with these photos. So it looks like I'm going to use a combination of the floral print
and the stripe over on the left-hand side under the photos. I did add a little bit of that stripe from Basic Gray just as an accent. These two collections go together so well. J'adore and the Kaisercraft collection. I did have one more paper there from Basic Gray for consider for matting, because I had trouble finding something to mat with. And then I looked at doing some border stickers. In the end, I didn't end up using any of those, but I do want to use some of these florals and put those on as embellishment. So I've got to do some trimming down and getting my journaling typed up. That flare piece, I'm looking for a spot for it. On the sketch, it has it on the left side of that group at the bottom, but I've decided to put it more on the right side. And at this point, I'm just trying to get the little wire piece off of there, and I have some needle nose pliers, and I'm just sort of prying it off. You want to do this kind of thing carefully. And as soon as I got it off of there, then and I've folded back the parts that were sticking out, I threw it in the trash so it wouldn't end up on the floor or anything. You know, you don't want wire laying about. Okay, now we've got some flowers. I've got a lot of choices here with the stickers, so I got to figure out which one that I want to use. And there's one with a larger group of flowers and stems, and I put it over on the right-hand side. I'm not a big sticker person. I think if I use them in smaller quantities and I mix them with some of the other embellishments, they work for me. And I do have some trim here too. I think I got this at Hobby Lobby on clearance somewhere. It's just an inexpensive little trim. The fabric departments, of course, are great places to find trims if you like something, you know, different. Now for my text, I'm using Day out of my chipboard stickers, and then Mountain I cut from the silhouette, and honestly it took me less time to cut Mountain than it did to find the letters for Day. So sometimes the silhouette can be a lot faster than trying to figure out where you have enough letters of different colors and all of that. Using a few of these rhinestone embellishments from Basic Gray, and then the word memories, and I'm trying to figure out if I'm going to add a color to this. And so I took a marker and I colored the back side of it to see how that would look, and it did not come out good. It needs to stay natural. That's going to be the best approach there on those photos for it to show up. Getting close here, just adding the last few little embellishments. This is becoming one of my favorite pages of the year. Really, really liking it. I did go through my trims and washi tape and stuff, and a lot of the trims were either not the right color or a little bit too big or busy. But I did add a little bit of washi to the sides of some of the photos, just to have a little bit more color there over on the right-hand side, and kind of tied that together with a piece over on the left-hand page at the bottom. And I need to put the date on using a date stamp.
So here's our page and sketch. We got in our 6 photos. This one could easily be substituted for a regular 4x6. If you want to do that, and you'd get 3 4x6 photos and then a couple of smaller ones down at the bottom. Or you could do a 4x6 down here and split it across the page. I personally don't want mine split across the page. That's just a matter of preference when it comes to 2-pagers, what you like. And then, you know, I started out with the stitching around the edge. I did mess up this paper. It was supposed to come down here, but I accidentally glued this over the top. It did make the title a lot easier to show up, because it would have been hard to have made a title show up on that print there. So I got a little more print in here, and I still have quite a bit of that print left, so I can perhaps use it somewhere else. Got in several of my embellishments, worked the die cut or the stickers in with some of the other things that have a little more texture to them, and got the flower emphasis without, I think, it being too much in the way of flowers. So thanks so much for joining me, and I hope you'll continue along with this series. We've got a couple of more layouts to do, at least with this kit. Thanks again. And if you're not a subscriber, I'd like to have you subscribe, and if you really like the video, a thumbs up goes a long way in YouTube promoting my channel. Thank you.